the summer after I'd finished studying, I'd saved a little money and I bought a tent. And I spent the summer in Scotland and Wales and Ireland to a certain extent, just hitchhiking all around and meeting people and camping out. And it was very easy to do that at that time and fairly safe and cheap. And I slept in the tent every night. But what I realized while I was doing that is what I really found exciting about that was not actually getting anywhere, but I really enjoyed just meeting people and talking to them. Many years later, I realized that what I was really doing there was collecting folklore and doing a lot of things that folklorists do, which really is interacting with people and trying to understand what makes people tick in particular places and what their relationships are with each other and with the land and with their community. Because I do think one of our goals as folklorists is to bring to other people the experiences we've been fortunate to have, or the experiences of other groups, to work as a bridge between different communities and groups of people so they can understand how other groups deal with similar issues. And in fact, for this festival research that I've been doing, the festivals that I've been focusing on take place on New Year's Eve. So oddly, the people who actually participate in a festival in one part of the country, or even in one part of a particular village, have never seen the festival enacted in the next village during that same time because they're busy working on their own. So there's an interesting simultaneity of it that the people involved can't experience. So as a researcher, I've had the chance to go to several ones. You have to wait for the next year, but I've been able to, in one community, tell people what happens in another community. And they're very interested in that. They just haven't had the opportunity to do it. So I can work in a kind of superficial way as a bridge between these two different but similar traditions. So that's kind of fun. These festivals usually concern some kind of demonic or monstrous creature, and there are numerous different festivals like this throughout Japan. So I spent some time visiting small communities, two in particular that I got to know people quite well, and talking to them about their festival and observing the festival. And that was really exciting. And that sort of has become the direction I'd like to go in my research now, is looking more into festival in general, those sort of demon festivals, I sometimes call them, those demon festivals in particular, and how the community uses them for various purposes, and how they're often opened up for tourism as well, as it becomes this strange attraction. You come to see something frightening, come to see something out of the ordinary, and they're very consciously used in some cases by the communities to create income, really, to invite people to somewhat out-of-the-way places during the season of the festival. So that's one thing that I'm very interested in studying. So it's an exciting field that allows you to look at festivals and the meaning of festivals in community, but also within the broader cultures of tourism and political economic issues and historical issues. And there's a lot there. One of my broader goals, what I'd really like to do in continuing work in folklore is try to write, serious academic books that people will appreciate for whatever value they have to whatever discipline they're in, but also that will just be a good read, something that people will read and get new ideas from no matter what field they're in. And enjoy reading, and maybe, the ideal is that they'll actually want to read passages out loud, because to me that's something that's important, is the flow of language itself. Eventually I found my way here, which is really, for me, the ideal place to be, because I can continue to focus on folklore in all its many forms and broader theoretical and conceptual forms, as well as Japanese folklore, Japanese literature, Japanese film, and the other things that I'm also trained in. I think one of the things that I like about being part of a folklore department is that your work is all around you. And it always, people who go into academia, I think that's just the way they look at the world. I mean, you could not do a 9-to-5 job even if you wanted to, because if you did, then you'd become obsessed by your hobbies, right? So in a way, working in this department is like being allowed to do my hobby all the time.